I think we're actually burying the lead. Hey, OC, how did you know that Parsons was going to be able to rush the passer as well as he did? You're the only person I've ever seen to ever say that Micah Parsons could be a put his hand down guy. So I need that question answered.
The OC.
And boss showed me. So I just hope we don't, OC, do the things that we've done in the past to where we look at the person that's telling you the truth as the bad guy and then target them and then figure out later, oh, you was right. Scott Linehan was predictable. But
like, we never got a guard. That's the only thing that would have made him do that. That's it.
He know.
He know. Because he been watching Twitter, man.
Oh, man. This is one of them days. It's looking familiar. It's looking familiar. It's like I've seen this story before. My God.
Reefer, my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live.
Boss, show me.
I will, man. Trevon Diggs. Oh my God. This gonna be one of them. It's gonna be one of them.
Shot it. Fight for. See, that's how to go out. Don't go out, just sit back. yeah. Oh, I'm gonna take Matthew Golden. No, fight for. You wanted physical. You said you wanted physical. Fight for it.
I promise you, man. I said I was gonna take the day off, but days like this,
You can't handle the truth. You want answers?
it's for the people who want answers.
Oh my God.
Somebody else said
Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matters.
Oh man, one of them days, I promise you, man. I swear. Dallas Cowboys, I can't stop playing with me. Today's stream is brought to you by Sleep Out. Go for a Hail Mary on your sleeper picks and win up to 100 times your money. Use promo code BCS and Sleeper will 100% match your first deposit up to $100 instantly. So, this absolutely sounds familiar, right? When I just kind of, heard the news of this concussion. And I'm gonna be honest, man, it has a smell to it. It's like, especially when you vague with it, like nobody said what happened. It's just he had a concussion. And see, listen, man, we all know Dallas pulls all kind of weird moves. We know they'll pull some lies and stuff like that. We know that. Everybody, suspected that happened with Rico, right? Dowdle last year. Everybody, how he got this phantom flu out the blue. Right? But then it was also, remember, Rico, and this is what scares me. Rico, not Dowdle, but Gathers. Remember, Rico Gathers had this whole season concussion. Because he was ripping up preseason. And all of a sudden, he got this concussion. And it just lingered for the whole season. So it's one of them things you're like, man, this don't smell right. And so that's why I played that clip at the beginning. I'm going to play it again. Because I actually talked about this before, but I was warning that this could be happening to Amari. I was telling the OC when that smell was starting to form, that I was like, this don't seem right, man. Something ain't right about this. And we know how that played out. I end up being right on that. Y'all give me a second to cue that up. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm gonna cue that up real quick. But I'm gonna play the whole thing where you can see that I was smelling it, and it has a similar smell now. Okay. Y'all give me 1 second, man. You know, I gotta fly my own plane, man. I ain't got no producers behind the scene yet. You hear me? Not yet. But when I get some producers, boys, could be on. So listen, man, I'm gonna go home and play this whole thing, and then we go talk about this historically. I'm gonna talk about how this has a familiar spirit to it. So here we go.
Asking a question that got us what we looking for. My final word is I hope this doesn't become what's historically ugly with the Cowboys, because this wasn't the first time we've seen receivers speak out. Right now, I just hope it don't get nasty. I hope this doesn't become the T.O. thing or the Dez Bryant thing.
Now, remember, I was talking about this when we was having 12-5 seasons. And I was saying, because I was seeing the tea leaves forming, because Amari had some very simple, subtle, silent, not even aggressive times where he spoke out. And I was like, man, I hope this don't become what happened with T.O. and Dez. And I'm going to show what happened with T.O. and Dez.
Or because they speaking out against the dysfunctions, like when T.O. talked about Romo and Witten, he was gone. Once he said Romo and Witten making up plays for each other, he was out, because you're considered a distraction, even though you're telling the truth. Once Dez came out and told the truth on play calling, he was gone. It didn't matter that he said it nice. He was out of here. Once he came out.
See, and think about this in relation to grits. Think about what I'm saying in relation to what just happened with Trevon Diggs having some legitimate critiques about grits, right? And so when I say grits, that's when he was saying he wanted us to play more man coverage.
So I just hope we don't, OC, do the things that we've done in the past, to where we look at the person that's telling you the truth as the bad guy. And then target them and then figure out later, oh, you was right. Scott Linehan was predictable, but they've already fired Dez. He's already gone. You know what I mean? I'm hoping it don't spin into that, and I'm hoping it goes right into what you said, OC, which is they gonna hopefully take it as, yeah, he's ready. Let's target him. Let's get him going.
Cause see, this is when he was coming back from COVID, and I was like, man, I hope they don't do what they did. I hope they don't do what they did. Because see, the OC go disagree, because he could be like, man, ain't no way that it's crazy, bro. Amari, ain't no way. The 12-5 season.
Yeah, I don't think that this is gonna go toxic, boss, because I think it's a different regime.
Yeah.
OC.
And I think that, you know, it's not a good old boy culture.
OC.
Nearly as much as it used to be. The former.
That's what my boy Wi-Fi used to be tripping.
Try to like get W's and do what we need to do as a team. And so that's my prediction.
See, because he talking football. He like, ain't no way they gonna do that, man. They go say, we got to get Amari back in here. We gonna do what we got to do as a team. Like, he like, ain't no way, you know. Because, see, this is what I used to tell the OC. You thinking too logical, man. You see, your problem, remember, y'all used to hear me say that. You got to think like them, bro. They don't think logical like you. They be in their emotions. They be in their feelings. It be politics. See, you just talking just good football. So in his common sense mind, ain't no way they go do that. Because you know the OC, he's smart. He one of the smartest people. We know that. But I was like, OC, man, these dudes, they different.
Situation, and Amari Cooper is a high character guy. He's not messy, he's not loud, he's not flamboyant.
You see, he talking, he like, man, nah, he don't do that. He ain't no messy receiver. He not like AJ. He not reading books on the sideline. He ain't doing all that stuff. He not throwing Dak under the bus. He ain't doing none of that. And no, boss.
So he's a guy that's respected, and I think he has to respect, or at least enough respect, of the locker room for that not to take place.
Watch this.
Keep your eyes open, OC. Because like my
look, OG
boy D.A. Lee said,
see,
the fan base is already.
See where that boy D.A. Lee come is real. See, this is when D.A. Lee was still on Facebook. This is when he was using the half face. That's how much he wasn't even on YouTube with us at this time. That boy was still on Facebook using the half face on that ass. And see, the same thing D.A. Lee said right here is the same thing he warning about right now. See, D.A. Lee always been one of them smart dudes who always knew the pressure of the fans is go give cover to them Joneses when they want to do something nefarious. And he came in right when he heard us having this conversation, and he said the fan base is already doing to Coop or doing that to Coop in these groups, meaning they down on him. D.A. Lee said that to me today about Diggs. I swear to God, I could go pull my Twitter and show you D.A. Lee pretty much saying word for word, because he keeps his finger on the pulse of what the fans are saying. I swear to God.
You're doing that to Coop in these groups. You know what I mean? Where basically the fans are targeting Coop. And see, when that happens, it makes it easy for the Joneses to do dirty work.
Yep.
So you can't do no dirty work. You can't do no dirty work on Tank right now. You can't. You just got to shut up. You know what I mean? But you can do dirty work on Coop right now. So it's something that to me we got to look out for, in my opinion, big bro.
And it happened. We know what happened. We know what happened, bro. They got Amari. They was in their feelings like I was smelling. And see, I go through this type of history because a lot of people don't know. And it's, you know, I'm going to show you. I'm going to catch you up. A lot of people don't know history. And my boy say, D.A. Lee has always been the truth. Hell yeah. Day one. I ain't lying when I say he day one, bro. D.A. Lee was one of the original 20. I swear to God. D.A. Lee was one of the original 20, bro. So anyway, and he always been one of them that peeping the game. Always. So I'm going to show y'all the pattern, and I'm going to lead up to Diggs, and I'm going to show y'all how this is so similar to Diggs. So if we even go look at this article and you go look at Diggs, right? And you look at Diggs prefers one major change for the Cowboys defense in the mid-secondary struggles. So this was October 2nd, right? This was Diggs basically letting it be known that he prefers more man coverage. And he just kind of put it out there. Let me make this bigger. But see, just like Amari, he was respectful. Just like Dez, he was respectful. He didn't speak like, it wasn't no condescending tone. It was none of that. He said, I would say it's more complex. Say it's more, but when you're playing man, you're right there with the person. As the weeks have been coming, playing zone has been way easier. I feel like we're on our way to getting the ball and being on our way to making plays, Diggs said. So you can see after he talked about wanting to play more, man, He was soft. He wasn't disrespectful. He was giving his suggestion. And then he went even softer than that. He said, at the end of the day, it's not about what I want. It's not about the other people. It's about the whole defense wants. What coach wants, showing the respect. You see him showing respect? What coach think is best for us to win. And if he feels like this gives us our best chance to win, we got to play it. And just play it to the best of our ability. It's not to point fingers at anybody. It ain't nobody's faults. We got to execute. Does that sound like he's throwing his coach under the bus? This was just a suggestion to make them better, given in the proper tone. But what happened in return? At first, it was all good. Matt Eberflus, this is why I don't like them Trojan horse coaches, man. See, whenever Jerry go get them coaches, man, they be tripping, bro. I hate them Trojan horse coaches. I hate them boys. Because they too protected by Jerry. And I said something on Twitter, because I've been seeing this pattern for a while. The pattern is, and that's why I said what I said to the OC, this is the pattern. The great player gets fired first, and then they figure out, oh, that coach was actually bad. It wasn't that player. It happened with Dez. It happened with Amari. It looked like it's getting ready to happen with Diggs. So I wanted to show y'all the soft tone, because people be out there just making up shit. They be like, Diggs bitching and all this kind of stuff. That ain't bitching. That's talking respectful, giving suggestions on what can work. And the worst part is it worked. When they went into the Jets game and they played more man coverage, it worked. It was one of the best defensive games in the back end. The only struggle was the linebackers. That was it. That's the truth. But then Trojan horse Matt Eberflus, who we now know was directly hired by Jerry, kept getting peppered by the media, and he got in his feelings. And so when he got in his feelings, he wanted to take a shot at Diggs. See, I'm giving y'all the facts, bro. I'm giving y'all the whole facts. It's gonna be a whole lot of people lying on Diggs, because right now it's popular to be anti-Diggs. It's a lot of people. And see, Eberflus, Trojan horse, he's always been wrong in this. Diggs was right. That's why Jerry came back and made the suggestion himself. He said, oh, we're going to play more man. This week, we're going to play more man. But see, where was your sneak dissing of your boss? What happened to that? See, he got in his feelings because, see, when you know you're doing a bad job, this is what some of these coaches start doing. They start looking for somebody to blame. Somebody to get the heat off of them. It happened to Dez. It happened to Amari. It look like it's happening right now to Diggs. So I wanted to start with that so y'all can see the tone, and that the tone was never disrespectful. Never. Now, people go lie. People go exaggerate. They go say he's a diva, and they go talk about him and Micah Parsons was friends and he was pouting over Micah. They go just make up shit. Listen, the Cowboys, Micah doesn't have to be on a team for them to still be friends. He don't have to be in the locker room for y'all to still be boys. This is a professional job. At the end of the day, guess what? CeeDee Lamb is still cool with Hurts, who was his quarterback at OU. So when Hurts was getting his ring at the ring ceremony, game 1, CeeDee Lamb went out there to support him. He was like, that was once at one time my quarterback at OU. So we getting ready to go at it, but in this moment, I'm going to support you as my friend. But we so toxic sometimes at Cowboy Nation. We be, he over there moping over Micah. He moping. And we be literally making up shit on him, bro. Like hating on him. And then he said, after Sunday's win, right? So after the Jets, he still was politically correct. Still was chill. He say, after Sunday's win, Trevon Diggs complimented Dallas pass rush. We say when we get back there fast, it's called instant grits. But then they talked about Diggs has been vocal about his comfort playing man coverage, not zone. But see, I showed y'all the context so you can see he never said it at all in a disrespectful tone. It was, coach, this is what I prefer. And see, what's sad is that week, Matt Eberflus was cool with it. He actually said, yeah, we take suggestions. But then when the media kept peppering him, I guess he felt the pressure and then wanted to defend his job. So he took a shot at Diggs. DC Matt Eberflus asked Thursday if playing more man versus the Jets made players like Diggs feel more validated. See, when they said that, it got under his sensitive ass skin. Diggs being more validated, so he had to take a shot. Not having the common sense to know, bro, they being messy. That's the media, bro. What they're gonna do is they're gonna try to stir up some mess, watch you explode, and then after you explode, they know it's gonna help them get clicks with their articles, so they're trying to wire you up. That's what they're doing. But his goofy ass fell for it. We're going to make decisions based on what we feel is best, based on matchups, based on what we have. And I don't like grits either. Sneak dissing Diggs. And I'm giving y'all the context, bro. I'm showing you the context. I'm showing you Diggs wasn't being disrespectful. I'm showing you that he was, hey, I prefer to play man. And is he wrong? Is he wrong? He not wrong on that either. This is why Jerry also came back and said, you're going to see more man. Because he's right on that. Let me go pull this graphic. I showed this graphic. I'm going to show it again. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Oh man, I done did so much shows, bro. I'm talking, I've been dropping shows like crazy, bro. I swear to God, I've been doing too many shows. I think it's under Competition Wednesday. I'm talking about, man, I've been, boy. I think it's under Competition Wednesday. Nah, it ain't under Competition Wednesday. But I gotta show this so y'all can see it. Oh, it's probably where yeah, that's where it is. Yeah, here it is. I got it. You know, boss got you. So when you look at, Diggs was telling the truth between 2021 and 2023. Dan Quinn, if you look at what I highlighted, Dallas ran man at 34% rate. Under Quinn, it was above league average for that span, for that whole span. 2021, 2022, and 2023. The Cowboys ran more man on average than the majority of the NFL. So when Diggs say, this is where I was at my best, that's where he was at his best. He was not lying. And it makes sense. And see, this is what I hate about them Trojan horse coaches. They'll run a scheme that'll make you look bad, which is the same thing that happened to Amari. I'm going to show y'all that. Trojan horse Kelly Moore was running schemes that made Amari look bad. The fans turned on Amari, and it made it easy for the Cowboys to get rid of him. Even though we needed Amari. Worse, even worse than that, we got rid of Amari for an injured Michael Gallup. And Jerry lied in everybody's face and said that basically it was about availability. Jerry Jones took a direct aim at former Cowboys wide receiver Amari Cooper without ever saying his name. Jones said that when you make that much money, the bar is high. Not just about performance, but also availability. Availability had everything to do with it, Jones said, talking about Amari. But he clearly gaslighting you, because how can you say it's about availability, but then you go out there and sign a guy that's coming off a fresh ACL who has surgery in February? Think about how stupid he's saying you are. We are. He's saying we stupid. That's what he was saying. Y'all stupid. I could tell y'all anything. Then all of a sudden, you looking at Gallup in training camp and he gimping, and you can clearly see he's gimping. But he was selling us that getting rid of Amari was a good thing. See, this is why you got to be able to remember history, bro. And you can't let them sell you on anything, because see, some people say they wouldn't get rid of Diggs for a Revel. They wouldn't do that. Revel has a big ass knee brace. Of course they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't do that. Shit, boy, you better remember your history. You better go remember. And see, this is why you gotta be, big ol' ass knee brace. And this is what I said. Diggs never needed no big ass knee brace. And I thought Dallas medical team would have had Diggs ahead of schedule. You looking at Dallas medical team and the people they working on got these bulky ass knee braces, but Revel was supposed to be the one ahead of Diggs. Of course, see, and if you let Steven and Jerry tell you, they'll say, we believe if Diggs would have been with our medical staff, he would have been ahead of schedule. And that's when Diggs put the cap out there. Yeah, because they was capping. You can look at their own medical team, because that grafted knee supposed to take a 12 months to 18 months to recover from. And Diggs came back in way less time. So, and it's also interesting to me, and I'm just using my common sense, right? And I'm over here like, wow. Because see, let's read this. Hold on now. Let's just kind of put this together. So Clarence Hill said reinforcements are coming for the Cowboys. Per Bill Parcells, when they on the courts, it won't be long before they on the field. So you got Revel in the courts, and now all of a sudden, Diggs has a concussion. And they are goofy enough, just like they did with Amari, to take somebody gimping and put them out there and still try to sell us that was better than going with the guy that was healthier. So I'm over here like,
You want answers?
And see, listen, man, when I talk, it be pissing people off, some people, because like I got this guy said, man, I had this dude on Twitter so damn mad, bruh. Because I told you, the positive pamper people, they are the most aggressive, bro. They are truly the type of people that
You can't handle the truth.
when you start telling them the truth, oh my God, they ass start itching. When you start telling them, bro, they are playing you. They want to be lied to. I'm telling you, it's some people out there that's Mario Winans. I don't want to know if you playing me, keep it on the low. I want to be happy, boss. I want to feel hope, and you hurting my hope right now. Bro, I'm just trying to keep you from being a sucker, bro. Yeah, because I'm over here like, man, and Diggs ain't never had no big ass knee break. That shit, listen, that should make people say, hell yeah, bro. Man, they trying to play us, bro. Something ain't right about this. And is this guy the most annoying Cowboys page on Twitter? All you do is bitch and you really know what the fuck you talking about. See, them positive pampers, I told you, they are aggressive, bro. They casual and they aggressive. So you know I got in his ass. I said, you just a casual. It's okay. I said, if you had a better football cue, you would value me. I'm going live in 20 minutes. Call in. I bet you don't have the same internet keyboard engine. Of course he didn't. So this is what I do with them types. Cause I told him, I said, bro, all you gotta do is hit that block button, bro. That's easy, bro. Like, so, you know. Cause I don't do the positive pamper people like that. I deal with bosses and executives.
You want answers?
People that want answers, people that don't want to be lied to. I don't deal with people that's tricks. I don't deal with people that want to be. I don't deal with Mario Winans types. See, that dude need to go to another channel where they happily lie to y'all. They lie to y'all every day. They gonna give you all the positivity in this shit. They gonna go out there and say, man, I don't think we gonna miss Diggs. We gonna be fine. Revel is gonna be fine. See, they the same people that was telling you Gallup is gonna be fine, y'all. I know he coming off a fresh ACL, but he's gonna be fine. Don't listen to him, boss. Don't listen. No, he's not gimping around. He's not favoring that knee. Come on, you gotta have some faith. So, let me go through the history real quick. A lot of y'all already know this, but I'm gonna just kind of show some people the real history. And it starts with Dez. So, with Dez, and I can go back further than Dez. But I'm trying to show you the similarities between the soft-spoken, suggestive nature of what Diggs did and people before him and how they all got targeted, in my opinion. This was Dez's response to when they was predictable. So Mike Fisher put out there, Dez Bryant to me. So this is what Dez Bryant basically told him verbatim. I got a super chat. He said they also believe in a running back more than the coach. Yeah. You can see that. Anybody that's using their common sense can see that Brian Schottenheimer and Clayton Adams have totally different energy on running back than Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones up here, oh, Blue just getting warmed up. Shit, man, them balls is so. They be, man. All right. Let me keep going. He said, doesn't make sense to me T. Will, Bees, and me all decline at the same time. Y'all remember what I said about the Book of Boss? If it's one of them that's having an issue, you blame that player. But if the group go down, you look at the coach. And that's basically what Dez was saying. But he was saying it politically correct. He said, our coaches are smart, just like Diggs. You see how he being politically correct? Our coaches are smart. So he didn't throw nobody under the bus, just like Diggs. So we need to figure out, are we too predictable? Did DBs know what was coming? And how do we counter that? That's all. That was Dez speaking out. And when Dez spoke out, Jane Slater was in the locker room, and she was also explaining the issue for several players is predictable playbook. So her saying, hey, me talking to the people, they ain't talking about drama. They not talking about drama. They talking about the playbook. This is what the players are saying. Opposing teams know exactly where the ball is going. I've talked to a number of Cowboy players in recent days. There's zero infighting or drama in the locker room. But see, these were the days where people were saying, Dez is a cancer. Dez is a cancer. And she putting it out there. No, that ain't got no problem with Dez. Ain't nobody tripping on Dez. Dez ain't no problem up in here. From me talking to people, the problem that they have is a predictable playbook. They ain't had no problem with Dez. But when you start telling the truth about how this team can improve, even when you do it politically correct, sometimes a hitter get put on your ass. You think I'm lying? Mike Fisher report about it. See, Adrian Rodriguez said, Fish, Dez and Hearns with really in the lineup, that's a Dak-friendly offense with Zeke ready to eat. In other words, this guy was excited about what it could be with Hearns and if they added really. Mike Fisher threw some dirt on that. He said, wait a minute, I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing. He said a handful of somebodies with power inside the Cowboys is waging a campaign to get Dez Bryant out of here. That much is clear. And that handful might get its way. And worse, they was lying right in the public as they was scheming and plotting to get Dez out. Because Steven said, club didn't sign Allen Hearns to replace Bryant. Said Cowboys still need to talk to Brian about his contract. That's all we got to do is talk. I just need to go talk. We ain't had time to talk to him. That's all. We ain't get Hearns to replace him. We just ain't done it yet. Yeah. And then what happened is they surprised him with a cut without even talking to him. They never even went to him to talk about him taking a pay cut. And what's worse is they let free agency dry up. They let it dry up where maybe somebody could acquire Dez that was a better contender. They waited till all these teams picked their free agents. They fired him the weekend before he's supposed to go in a training camp, which would have guaranteed his money. They ran the clock out on Dez. And then after that, it finally came out who the real breakdown was. Because then other receivers that was acquired began to have problems with that same guy. Amari began the dude that was the hero to save wide receiver by committee began to have issues with that same guy. And guess what happened? He began to speak out. But when you speak out, you become a target. So remember the Eagles game. See, I'm giving y'all real history, unedited, uncut, all truth, no bullshit. I'm giving y'all the real, so that we can see why I said what I said to the OC. Cause see, that was sitting in my mind. I was like, bro, they move like this, bro. You can be innocent, but I knew Amari at that time spoke out. See, this is what I'm trying to say. This looked just like Diggs, bro. This looked just like Diggs, some old phantom man. But let's go back. Amari said, and he was talking about the time, the play call when we beat Philly in overtime. See, remember, in that day, they broke a franchise record together. That day, they all went crazy. That day, Amari had 217 buckos. Dak went ape crazy with 455 yards. And Zeke went stupid bonkers and put 113 big ones on the ground. And we still could have lost that game. This was the first time ever in franchise history that the Cowboys offense featured a 400-yard passer, a 200-yard receiver, and a 100-yard rusher. But why did they win? They won because one man had the courage to speak out on what was best. And what he said was, now this was on a 75-yard touchdown. Now listen, that touchdown happened because Amari was man enough to speak up like Diggs on what was best. Like he was man enough to speak up like Dez on what was best. He said this to Dak. He said, I was like, this ridiculous. So when I broke the huddle, I was kind of mad. I was like, Dak, come on. So what he was talking about, because I remember the details of this, what happened was Philly was sitting on their routes and Scott Linehan kept running stop routes all day, being predictable. Similar to Matt Eberflus, who keep running zone. So your better players and your smarter players gonna be like, what we doing? Man, we running stop routes. Let's take these boys deep, bro. They sitting on it. Yeah, too predictable. Like Paul said. I only got 100 likes up in here. I'll get the likes up, but y'all getting straight history, bro. Yeah. So this what happened though. So then he said, Dak, come on, man. And Dak, you know, Dak be on that, hey, run the play, you know. And he was like, just run it, bro. And I guess he thought about it. See, but this is what you want your players to do. If your players is saying some stupid shit, don't you want them to speak up? Or do you want them to sit there and just all of us walk off the cliff together? See, this is why some people hate my content, because I don't let us walk off the cliff. I'm like Amari. I'm like Dez. I'm like Diggs. I'm the one to say, hey y'all, Blue, that none of, boss, run the play. See, some of y'all like Dak. Run the play, no. This don't match shoddy, bro. See, when you really want to win, you speak up. You do it with respect, but you still speak up. And he spoke up and he said, I guess he thought about it. And again, he kind of signaled a go route. And I was elated when he did. And I took off, caught the ball and scored. And we won the game. But it was some retaliation after that. See, Boss kept up with the details, and Boss always been a type to keep up with the details. So if you saw a day like this, wouldn't you do what you're supposed to do to repeat a day like that? Let me ask y'all a question. If you saw a franchise record 455 with Dak, 217 with Amari, 113 with Zeke, wouldn't you repeat the formula that did that? Wouldn't you? Guess what? They didn't.
Oh, hell no.
So let me tell you the key difference, and you go check the facts on this, bro, because I already did the work on this. The difference and what changed after this, Amari played in 90% of the snaps. After this game, when he spoke out, Scott Linehan dropped his snaps to 70 and 60%. Retaliation. Like Matt Eberflus. Petty. How dare he question me? These dudes ain't trying to make you look bad. They just want to win, bro. And sometimes when you want to win, you have to question authority. Do it respectfully, but you still have to come at authority like, hey, coach. Hey, coach, they sitting on our routes. Hey, coach, we running a little bit too much zone, coach. Coach, we running a little bit too much zone. And yes, it was retaliation. It was. Let me prove it. See, I keep receipts, y'all. Because it came out. I want y'all to listen to this. Okay? Y'all watch this.
With the Saints, but Cowboys news calls, Jane, and I'm sure you've been on the phone a good bit today. What's the reaction in that locker room after Scott Linehan and the team have parted ways?
Well, it's been a curious turn of events, Patrick, that's for sure. This started on Monday when head coach Jason Garrett went on 105.3 The Fan and said he didn't expect any significant changes to his coaching staff. Then in a 2 o'clock presser, he sort of walked that back a bit and said they haven't exactly sat down and had those decisions. I was then hearing rumblings internally within that building that maybe Scott Linehan's job wasn't so safe. And I think some of that has to do with perhaps owner Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones reaching out to some of these players, getting the same sort of pulse from them that I had when I reached out on Monday, which was this was a guy this locker room wasn't sold on. It
the same shit Dez said. It was the same thing Dez said, but respectfully. So when I tell you this, the front office has a bad habit of firing the best player before they fire the bad coach. I'm telling you the truth. I'm showing you the real history. Let's keep going.
Started last year. We saw guys like Dez Bryant and Bryce Butler.
Damn! See, this is why I always said James Slater, her and Michael Gelkin, the best.
Look at she. It started last year. See, she was always on the post, brother.
A guy this locker room wasn't sold on. It started last year. We saw guys like Dez Bryant and Bryce Butler, Ryan Switzer, all voice their frustrations. Cole Beasley.
Keeping it real.
Talking about that they just didn't think they were getting enough creativity out of Scott Linehan.
God damn. Does it make sense to me that T. Will, B's, me all decline at the same time? Our coaches are smart. Said it right. Said it politically correct. Didn't throw nobody under the bus. So we need to figure out, are we too predictable? Did DBs know what was coming, and how do we counter it? That's all. But what? So let me tell you the damage of this type of stuff. This is the damage. I just want you to use your imagination like this and say, instead of having receiver by committee, what if we had Dez and Amari? Oh, shit.
Take it easy on my back. Oh, Mr. Nasty Time.
See, this is the consequences of the politics of the Dallas Cowboys. This is why I can't stand them content creators. They be like, I'm not mad at Jerry, man. I didn't know Jerry. I'm not the type of content that say bad to Jerry. It's like, bro, cause you either you sucking up or you just casual as hell, and you so happen to have a microphone. But anybody that really does their real research and know their real history, and that's really passionate about the team and really watch the team, like D.A. Lee, me, Tuck, and some other people that when we listen to the interviews and the press conference, we not just listening to shit to have breaking news every day. This just happened. This just happened. Follow me, subscribe to me. This just happened. Look, man, they just signed this person. He's great. They just signed this person. He's great. Look, they just signed this broke back ass guard. He's great. Oh, they just breaking news ass channel. No, bro. Like, where's the content on how to win, bro? But that's exactly what Jane said, bro, ain't it?
And we were also hearing things like, if you weren't a Linehan guy.
Oh, shit. We was also hearing, if you wasn't a Linehan guy.
We're getting enough creativity out of Scott Linehan. We were also hearing things like, if you weren't a Linehan guy, you weren't playing.
Oh, damn. That's why. Wow. Boss, you was the one that said you saw his snaps go down and it didn't make sense. And Boss was calling it out then. I was saying then, with me in the West Coast with a nasty sounding ass mic. My mic sounded like pure trash. I was like, how did we go from 90% where the triplets was their all-time best to you just dropped his snaps? Because front office got to figure out that sometimes these coaches are trying to save their ass, and you got to have the general manager's judgment to have the discernment to figure out when it's likely the case. But we have this instinct to protect Trojan horse ass coaches. And then we'll get rid of the asset that we actually needed to take us farther. And so my boy DC for life with the $5 super chat said, what's good, big boss cowboy? Keeping it real, bro. DC forever, let's go. Man, I'm gonna forever keep it real. But didn't you hear that? This is why, man, listen, I love Jane, bro. I really do. Occasionally when I can, I encourage her. I promise you. I reach out to her on occasion, just say, hey, you one of the last true journalists. One of the last true. She really is. Because she was calling it like it, man, she was telling the truth.
This year, some of that seemed to continue to carry over. And I think at the end of the day, once they went back to the players and asked, is this something that makes sense for our organization? The answer was no. And so now you have the news today that Scott Linehan is in fact out and reaching out to some of the players. I've got to tell you, there is a bit of a sense of relief and optimism that they're going to bring in someone that helps capitalize some of the strengths of some of these players, strengths that a lot of them have told me have not exactly been utilized.
Yep. Strengths that, look, that's why I asked, what would you do if you saw this type of day? Wouldn't you repeat what you just saw? You just saw them three break eight. Listen, you saw Dak throw for 455. You saw Zeke rush for 113. And you saw Amari go for 217. And Scott Linehan didn't repeat it. So listen. And see, I always said certain positions are domino positions. This is what I'm trying to explain to people now about running back, and they still we don't need no running back. How much better you want the offense to be, boss? It's like, bro, I'm telling you, running back helps us in 6 ways minimum. Amari was like that. Amari helped. He played a domino position. What do you mean? You got multiple benefits from him. One player gave you multiple benefits. So before Amari Cooper, Dak's passing rating was 87.4. With Amari, it went up to 101. Zeke's career rushing average was 4.7 per carry. Without him, with him, it went up to 6.3. See, that's why you got to watch out for them stat nerds. Look at his average. Look at his average. Look at his average. Look at Williams' average. Look at the average. Look at the average. Look at the stat sheet. Look at the colorful chart. But nobody talks about the yin and the yang. Nobody talks about the why. That's what let me know most of these people are not football people. If you're not talking, look, so why did Zeke go up in the average from one acquisition? Let's just use our common sense. Why? Because when you have a number one that can actually take the top off of defense, can you stack the box like that? You can't. You now have to account for that. You have to account for a guy. So everybody, when it was received by committee, was doing what? They were selling out to stop the run, which hurt Zeke's average. So one player helped two players. And this is what I keep telling people about running back, and they stubborn as fuck. People not listening to football, and I'm breaking it down in the elementary ass format to where your kid will understand it. If you get a running back, you're going to be able to rest the D. You literally can help your D with a better running back room. You also do the exact same thing that happened, but in reverse. If you get you a better running back room where you keeping pressure on that defense, can you double Lamb? I'm asking a simple ass question. If you got two threats in the backfield, not just Williams, if you got the type of backfield that's just pounding their ass, can you stack the box? Oh, okay. So that also helps Lamb and Pickens. It helps your offensive line because they not having to pass pro all day. They can lay on balls, which they rather do. Most importantly, it prolongs Dak's career because Dak is not having to throw it 40 times a game. And it
actually happened in your history. Shut up, boss. Shut up, boss. It happened in your history. Why are we talking about running back and we have a need for defense? Damn, bro. So, but I'm getting into the history because I'm seeing it basically happen all over again. That's why I'm showing y'all this history, bro. So they finally figured out that Scott Linehan was the problem. But then Amari being Amari kept being the guy that said what he had to say when he wanted to win. He kept being the type of man that says what he has to say when he trying to win. Similar to Diggs. When you're trying to win, you say what you got to say. And he ended up saying what he had to say, and it got him. Because, see, he was already being under-targeted. And I already showed y'all that. But then he came out and he spoke his mind because they was under-targeting the hell out of him, and it was hurting the team. And he spoke his mind on it. Just like Diggs, just like Dez, it was politically correct. Let me show you that history and how we fucked that up. And I'm talking about the Cowboys. I'm talking about Jerry, Steven, and everybody that's in charge. They messed it up.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us per usual.
Thanks for having me.
Which car are we in?
G-Wagon, man.
Okay, good. All right.
Is this a? I know it's not winter.
God damn, get out your nose, Kavanaugh. He done dug 2 goddamn boogers. Look like the guy did. Damn.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us per usual.
Thanks for having me.
Which car are we in?
Damn! Get out your nose.
G-Wagon, man.
Okay, good. All right.
Is this a? I know it's not wintertime out there, Amari, but is the G-Wagon kind of your wintertime car? I mean, I know it's nice and beautiful out there, but do you kind of drive your cars how the seasons go?
Nah, the G-Wagon is my everyday car.
Oh,
my everyday car.
Gotcha.
That makes sense. Mine's a CRV, very similar.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are on a nice little winning streak, but we were looking at yesterday the amount of targets for Amari Cooper the last handful of games, and they're not big numbers. What all is going into that, and does it bother you at all when you guys are winning but the offense isn't being explosive or you're not getting the ball? Does that bother you at all?
I gotta be honest, it actually does.
He being honest. It actually does bother me.
Because, yeah, we're winning, but the defense is playing a huge part in that. We're not really as explosive as we should be. We're not converting a lot of their turnovers to touchdowns. A lot of them are field goals, and I feel like I could be a huge part of that, so that's what frustrates me. And yeah, that's what it is. I think I can do more in the red zone. If I get the targets, I think I could do more on third downs if I get the targets, so that to help the offense be where we need to be. I definitely think I can help change that for sure.
Question: was that disrespectful? Was that disrespectful, or was his tone like Diggs?
giving suggestions to where this is where I feel like I can help. So once again, we had, just like Scott Linehan, a Trojan horse ass coach. Okay. With a system that was off, that was affecting one of your best players. The exact same thing is happening right now with Trevon Diggs, where a coach with a system that's off, playing too much zone, was affecting one of the best players. And a player that cares is going to say something. And I want my front office to be able to know the difference between people that's speaking up because they care and being assertive, and people that's speaking up because they're trying to be a distraction, like AJ Brown in Philly. See, it's a damn shame that Philly is so focused on football that they put away all the antics of AJ Brown for the assets of what he is as a player. I hate the fact that Philly is more serious about football than our corporate America is. We are so corporate America. How dare you speak up against authority? How dare you speak up? I heard Bobby Bell talked about that, where they were saying people didn't really like Amari because he would ask why. He would want to know why. The fuck wrong with you coaches? Where you're offended because you have a cerebral player who wants to understand the why behind the concept. See, that's an Eberflus type of coach. That's a Trojan horse type of coach. That's a, I don't like grits. I don't like grits. Stop hiring these coaches with these maniac ass egos to where even when you telling them the truth, they so fucked up that they can't even just say, you know what? That makes sense. Especially when it worked. It already worked with the Jets. The grits worked. What Dez Bryant said worked. It worked. And these insecure ass coaches, likely concerned for their fragile ass job, instead of taking the suggestions, they start looking at it like, you're not going to make me look like I can't do my job. And it becomes political. And then we start self-sabotaging. And Jerry and Steven back the wrong people. They get rid of the player before they get rid of the dumb coach. Okay, coach. Oh, that Dez. See, that's why Jane had to say it's zero infighting.
Amari, you're such a pro, though. Is that a conversation that you just kind of walk up at practice and kind of talk to Kellen Moore a little bit? You say, hey, or you just see the game plan, okay, this week I got a shot because 2 weeks ago we played these guys. I know who's going to cover me this week again. Is it something you say to the OC, or is it just something you kind of say, hey, I'm just going to just go out here and practice and do what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, we communicate with each other, me, Kellen, Dak, we talk about what we like and what we don't like. It's just a matter of it being put into the actual game plan or being caught in the actual game. Typically, we never run any play in the game that we don't practice that week. So
that's how he knew they was under targeting him on purpose. See, you got to remember, Amari was very smart. Chess player. Like, you wouldn't go get over him. So he noticed the pattern. If they not putting it in practice, we ain't gonna see it in the game. So basically, he wouldn't know from practice whether he was gonna get his targets or not.
You would know throughout the course of the week how much you're going to get targeted for real. But I mean, it's all a part of the game plan, and the offensive coordinator, he sees a bigger picture than you as just a receiver, because you're only looking at it from that perspective as a receiver, as opposed to looking at the whole offense.
So once again, politically correct, nothing disrespectful. Did he say anything disrespectful? He still, just like Diggs, covered up for the coach.
We never run any play in the game that we don't practice that week, so you would know throughout the course of the week how much you're going to get targeted for real. But I mean, it's all a part of the game plan, and the offensive coordinator, he sees a bigger picture than you as just a receiver, because you're on.
You see how he's still protecting his coach? You still how he's, this is the way I see it, but at the same time, my coach, he has a bigger picture. See, he basically saying, I just want the targets, but I might not be seeing it. That's the exact same spirit that Trevon Diggs had in the article. I'm talking about the exact same spirit. He talked with the exact, hold on real quick. He talked with the exact same tone. Respectful tone. Here it is again. Looking at this perfect temperament and tone when it comes to respecting authority. He said, at the end of the day, it's not about what I want. It's not about the other people. It's about what the defense wants. Don't that sound like Amari? And then my boy Carl with a super chat said with $2, boss, they don't want to respect a black man. I hope that's not the case, bro. I really, really do. I really hope that's not the case. That it's some biases where I pray that that's not the case. But then he said, and if he feels like this gives us our best chance to win, we got to play. Don't that sound just like Amari?
We're looking at it from that perspective as a receiver, as opposed to looking at the whole offense and the whole strategy like that. So, I mean, it's not so black and white, but you know, I do think that you know, in those situations, those important situations, like I said before, third down, red zone, I do think I could play a huge part in it, and making us more explosive.
Well, you mentioned the defense.
Was that disrespectful? It looked like we're seeing the same pattern to me. I'm seeing the same pattern over and over. Superstar players with soft but honest critiques getting ran out. And I'm going to take it this far because y'all know my name is Boss Show Me. I'm going to start this because I show you, I believe they set Amari up. This was me talking about during that period, the lack of targets for Amari. Listen, because he quoted, we have to be careful not to narrow the focus to one guy. So then if you look at the targets around the league, you see Adams with 162. You see Keenan Allen with 149. You see Cooper Kupp with 184. You see T. Hill with 156 with the Kansas City Chiefs. Diggs, Stephon, 151. Our number one, only at 96. Because he quoted, we have look at that mess. I honestly believe they did that shit on purpose, bro. I think it was premeditated. This is why I don't like Trojan horse coaches. Listen, y'all need to go listen to the show that I did when I was talking about them Trojan horse coaches. See, them Trojan horse coaches are the most dangerous because they run the most diabolical, dumbass plays that can come from Jerry and Steven. because everybody is going to have to co-coach, but you need coaches that push back. Them Trojan horse coaches, they don't. That's why they're scary. Let me show you why I believe that they did what they did to Amari on purpose. And let me show you the difference. So when it came to Amari, Michael Gilkin said, Cowboys do not use Amari Cooper like a top paid wide receiver. Today in Indianapolis, Executive Vice President Stephen Jones was non-committal about whether the team would continue to pay him like a one. Because remember, they wanted to pay Gallup, and they did. He said a split before March 20th is on the table.
Back to the decision ahead on Amari, his usage, not just production, but in terms of how often he was targeted, even when he was on the field, it was down.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of his relative lack of involvement, especially for someone who's got the contract of a number one wide receiver?
I just think it's an offensive philosophy.
Oh, the reason why he didn't get his targets, it was just a philosophy. It didn't happen on purpose. It was just a philosophy.
And with, when we had the skilled players that we had, between Kellen and Dak, I think there was a progression of, where you threw the ball. And depending on how the defense played you, it would point the ball to certain places where, hey, if they're going to double over here and they're going to double over the top over here, then that's going to dictate that the ball goes here. So I think it's more of a system deal.
You see, this is why I can't stand them Trojan horse ass coaches, man. It was more of a system deal. Listen.
So I think it's more of a system deal. It wasn't.
See, this is why I said Matt Eberflus is Kellen Moore part 2, but just on the defense. So that same bullshit we seeing with Diggs and Bland. In my system, I run a bunch of zone. I don't really care that my corners were both paid before, and both of them should have been defensive player of the year based on running the highest percentage of man. But in my system,
I think it's more of a system deal. It wasn't a thing where we just said, hey, we're not going to target Amari as much.
Is that the right system?
Based on the system, then.
Ooh, see, this is why I miss Michael Gilkin. Listen to that question, right? I really do miss Michael Gilkin. Look,
we're not going to target Amari as much.
Is that the right system?
He said, "Is that the right system?" I miss that man. Is that the right system? Is that the right system? Is that the right system? Come on, let's say it together. Is that the right system? Is that the right system, Eberflus? Is that the right system?
System, then does that make financial so you're not getting your investment dollars?
We go through all that.
See, we go through all that. That's you. In other words, is he worthy of being paid?
I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get into individually this stuff, but yes, all that plays into how we invest.
But see, when it came down to Amari, it's my system. It was his system. But when it came down to CeeDee Lamb, you had way more common sense.
And then in terms of receiver, is this more what you'd hope for or envision for on CeeDee Lamb? The media's been tough on him. Obviously, you mentioned him last week. Is this kind of what you would hope for, at least in week 2?
Absolutely. I mean, he's just you get him going early is important.
Oh, so when it was Amari, it's the system. When it was CeeDee Lamb, get him involved early. See, when it was time to get paid, now he was already paid. When it was who go get paid out of Gallup and Amari, because remember, this is the bastards versus sons. See, them free agents get treated different. In this era, they was being treated different. And look.
Absolutely. I mean, he's just you know, you get him going early is important. Get him a few balls, get him in rhythm. And
see, why couldn't you do that? See, why didn't that common sense that you got common sense? Because you're right. If you want to get him involved, get him going early.
Absolutely. I mean, he's just you know, you get him going early is important. Get him a few balls, get him in rhythm, and then I think we're going to continue to see you know, that CeeDee Lamb can be a really solid number one receiver in this league.
See, when you was trying to make CeeDee the number one, you knew how to do it. But when you wanted to get rid of the number one, you knew how to make him look bad, didn't you? Because you really wanted to pay Gallup.
We'll look back on and say, hey, I'm glad we made that move. And certainly, you know, if we keep Amari, I don't know that we're able to re-sign Gallup.
So if you would have kept Amari, you don't know if you would have been able to re-sign Gallup.
You know, some of those things, you know, I think caused us to make moves that I think we'll look back on and say, hey, I'm glad we made that move. And certainly, you know, if we keep Amari, I don't know that we're able to re-sign Gallup.
See, that's why I have to block Seth. Because, see, people like Seth can't handle this, you know, where you telling the truth and they get all in their feelings and shit. And, you know, they start cussing at you and all that kind of stuff because I'm showing you that your front office be moving weird. And I'm making a very clear case that they clearly move weird. So I have to block your positive pamper ass. Because boss, there's no way that they would, boss, they wouldn't go out there with Revel. They wouldn't do that. It looked like they set up Amari to me. When I see a clear contradiction with one number one, they literally say, is that the right system? Does that even make sense? Why is your number one so under-targeted? Why did your number one have so little targets? Why did Schultz have the same amount of targets as your number one? And why did your number two, CeeDee Lamb, have way more targets? It looked like you was trying to wash out that number one. It looked like that number one spoke his mind too much for you. And once again, he gets let go before the dumb coach and the Trojan horse, Kellen Moore, get let go. Because then the same pattern, Dez was right. He got let go. Then they said, oh shit, it was actually Scott Linehan. Then they let go of Amari and they say, oh shit, it was Kellen Moore. They was telling the truth. The playmaker was telling us right.
And then have our role players putting up numbers like Schultz and Wilson. That's a disorder. Trying to make our role players stars, our stars role players. That's a disorder, and the team dysfunction, and our ass is home.
Yeah. And the reason why he said, and our ass is home, because those of us who's truly studying Kellen Moore and not falling for they're the number one offense, we kept saying, in them big games, what's gonna happen is he not gonna target them stars. He gonna go in there like my system. And Michael Irvin and Emmett and Allen was like, nah, when you get into these games, you can't go into that game with my system. It gotta be about who's the dog that we can rely on. It's the same thing that just happened to Matt Eberflus last Sunday. It was system bullshit. It was system that was, let's have Bland, my star that I paid, play 6 yards off on a 4th and 3 because in my system, I'm going to bait it to the linebacker and the linebacker has to make the play. Man, fuck that. Take Bland, put his ass on that number 3 receiver, press him up and say, stop him so we can get up out of here. It's the same shit, bro. See, listen, yeah. And once again, we potentially gonna have a gimpy ass player as the replacement. They wouldn't do that, boss. They wouldn't do that, boss. Boss, they wouldn't take a gimpy Revel and say go out there so we don't have to, we can get rid of Diggs. Let's go ahead and try. So he's on the cords. Diggs got a concussion. It looks almost exactly like what happened to Amari. That same weird putting your thumb on the scale type shit. Like I'm serious, Paul. They do shit like that. Let's go. Let's pay the guy that's gimping around. Let's do that. Let's go out there and let's pair him with CeeDee Lamb. Let's do that. That's gonna work. See. Let me play the whole quote. Listen.
It is remarkable that you guys lost 3 or 4 really fine players and you still have one of the most talented rosters in the league. I don't know if that's ever been done, Steven.
Well, I'd start with, we would have not had other guys here had we chosen different directions.
See, you can tell right here he was feeling optimistic about Gallup. See, he's in a boisterous tone. This is a boisterous tone where if we wouldn't have, if we would have signed those other players, we wouldn't have been to have the players that we currently have.
I mean, I know for sure we wouldn't have had, we wouldn't be looking at, Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong, guys like that on our team. You're probably not necessarily looking at having a number 1 and a tackle. Had you made a different decision, and Tyler Smith, which we're certainly glad that we do. Losing both, losing Connor Williams as well. I mean, you certainly feel when you lose a Connor in the IL, you need to.
Hold on, I'm live on. Damn, Star. She said I'm live on Landlord and Henny Channel. My bad. I just went live with them. I forgot to turn them off. See, I be hurting my check when I do that. And I be giving them a free check. I just turned them off. My bad. Thank you, Star.
Do something about that in the draft, and we certainly did with Tyler, and thrilled with his progress. Obviously going to be our starting left tackle there day one. Some of those things, I think caused us to make moves that I think we'll look back on and say, hey, I'm glad we made that move. And
listen. We gonna look back on, and we gonna be like, I'm glad we made that move. And we gonna look back. We gonna be like, I'm so glad I did that.
We'll look back on and say, hey, I'm glad we made that move. And certainly, if we keep Amari, I don't know that we're able to re-sign Gallup. And I know right now Gallup's out of sight, out of mind for most of our fans. But, this is a young man who I think, given the opportunity.
See, listen. Listen. And he laughed like, he out of sight, out of mind. But
glad we made that move, and certainly, if we keep Amari, I don't know that we're able to re-sign Gallup, and I know right now Gallup's out of sight, out of mind for most of our fans, but this is a young man who I think, given the opportunity, is really going to, make people open their eyes, and certainly was playing well before his injury, and going to be back, I think, sooner than most people think.
So you don't think they crazy enough to do that shit? They crazy enough to do it, bro. Gallup has surgery in February, and they paid him. Coming off of fresh surgery, they still paid him, bro. And bet that he was gonna make a bigger impact than Amari. You don't think they'll say, hey, we think that Revel is gonna make a big... You don't think they crazy enough to do that shit? History says they are. So this is one of the reasons why I said, man, I was gonna take the day off, but when you start seeing all the stuff that's coming down the pipe and you start seeing the patterns, how can I ignore it? How can I just be like, no, I got something to say. And it don't sound right, bro. Concussion? Right when Relva on the courts? You look like you getting ready to try to pull a Gallup over Amari thing. Look, that's what I'm smelling, man. It has a smell to it. It has a smell of... See, let me explain something. This smell is a smell of playing with contention. I told y'all before, one of the biggest problems with this team is the Stephen Jones experiments. I said that before. And see, people got to put it in context if we add up the whole story and the patterns of what we seeing. I talked about this before. There's something called opportunity cost. What's up, Star? I always love to see Star, man. Star is one of my favorite people. I swear to God, she is. It's something called opportunity cost, where you make a decision and then there's a cost of that decision. And so when you add it up and you really look at it, we have wasted major contention windows. Because if we really look at it right, this team possibly could have had CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Dez all on the same team. If you add up the cost of picking them Trojan horse coaches over the players who was telling the truth. Now think about what that potentially cost you on those 12-5 teams. You could have had Dez getting ready to be at the very end of his career. CeeDee Lamb would have been at the very beginning of his career. And Amari would have started to begin to trail off as then CeeDee Lamb would have been ascending up. And that would have been in the midst of your 12-5 window. See, that's why I'm not liking all these people like, let's trade Trevon Diggs for Henderson, for Trey. It's like, man, the lack of common sense is so goddamn bad. It's like, bruh, when you have a pass rusher, bruh, you don't give up a ball hawking corner That is broccoli and cheese. They go together. If you're getting a pass rusher, keep the corner that gets the ball, because one affects the other. It's exactly like what I talked about, the domino position. We've seen the domino work before. You don't fuck with a corner if you're trying to acquire a pass rusher, because that pass rusher is going to help ball hawking corners, and corners help pass rushers. That's why you have coverage sacks.
Oh, let's trade Diggs, man. I like that. If they don't like him, just go ahead and give him so we can get Trey Henderson.
It's like, bro, give up one of them offensive linemen, bro. Give up a position where you're overstocked. You're clearly overstocked on the offensive line, bro. You're clearly overstocked. You got too many good ones, bro. You really do. You can give up one of them tight ends, bro. You have too many. But our fans over here like, let's mill in the season. Let's go with Revel. Bruh, like, I'm not trusting no cornerback with no, and I'm just being honest, bro. I'm not trusting no cornerback with no Tyron Smith knee brace, bruh. Didn't play in no training camp, bruh. Big old ass knee brace on a corner. If I'm a quarterback, I'm going right at his ass. I'm like, hut. 34, check 34. Let's test that knee. Hut. See, when you saw Diggs working out, he wasn't working out with that bulky ass shit when he was coming back. Check 34. I swear, if I'm the coach and they like, oh, they got a rookie out there with a knee brace, run his ass. I'm gonna run the ball at him. I'm gonna throw slants at him. I'm gonna test his change of direction. I'm gonna throw a fade at him. I'm gonna test his long speed. I'm gonna throw a post at him. Everywhere he got to change. Everywhere I'm gonna test that knee all game. I swear, boy. If I'm a coach, I'm gonna let it slant. Check. 34, 88, 34. Everybody gonna know we checking to his ass. 34, check 34. We're gonna be calling his name Rebel. Boy, I swear. Check Rebel. But man, this whole thing sounds stanky to me, bro. It smells like straight fart cheese. I ain't gonna lie. So listen, y'all. I'm gonna do what I do out of love. I'm gonna come bring y'all this. Hopefully it truly is just a basic ass, concussion. But this is what I don't like. Why they keeping everything in limbo? I wish they would just say what happened. That would stop the conspiracies, right? That would stop the conspiracies. Did Diggs fall off a ladder? Did Diggs slip in the bathroom? Was somebody kissed him on his forehead too hard? Like, what happened? Y'all just go show up on Friday and be like, he had a concussions and be like, oh, okay. Like, and then it's a lot of fans like, he checked out. He want to be traded. Bruh, why would he go to practice all week if he want to be traded? Like, some of this shit ain't make sense, bruh. Why would he be giving suggestions on how to improve if he trying to get up out of here? If he really want to get up out of here, you wouldn't be doing these shenanigans right now. You'll start doing this closer to the trade deadline. Like, some of these theories ain't lining up that people be talking about. Like, Trey just want to get out of here. Trey, he don't like Eberflus system. No. We have actual quotes of what he said about Eberflus system, and it don't sound like what you saying, sir. Sir, it doesn't sound like what you saying. I got the quotes over here which shows that he was showing respect to his system. I have the very quote. At the end of the day, it's not about what I want. It's not about the other people. It's about the whole defense wants. What coach wants? Oh, the same coach that y'all saying he want to try to get rid of? So y'all think he faking as a concussion? See, and I was talking to Foots, and Foots' name is out there bad right now. It's like people peeping my boy. Everybody's saying, hey, boss man, Foots is on Diggs' ass like he on a vendetta. And I'm like, y'all right, man. It look right to me. Because I remember when I was talking to Foots in the offseason, he was over here like, man, I think Diggs took some pictures. He took some clips to make himself look good. I'm like, God damn, Foots, you really believe he took some action? Go. Come on, bruh. We can't be on that type of time, bruh. Because what we do is we make it easy for front office to target the people that we need. We got to get off all of that type of stuff, man. That like trying to be right shit or whatever it might be. But yeah, it's pretty obvious. It'd be like, bro, come on, bro. We doing way too much going at Diggs. Too many fans doing. I be on Twitter. Twins be making sure he's out there pouting. He's out there making stuff up. He's up there. He's moping over. He's moping over Parsons. Man, come on, bro. Stop that shit, bro. This shit is ridiculous. It's straight up ridiculous how we just the best at attacking on. We be making up stuff. He just trying to get up out of here, boss. He don't really want to be a Cowboy no more. And then his very words is, at the end of the day, it's not about what I want. That's his very fucking quote. It's not about what I want. At the end of the day, I'm letting it be known what I prefer. He sound no different, literally, than the other people that was let go before him. He sounds no different, literally, than Dez before him, who was perfectly politically correct, perfectly, but was then blamed at the end of the day and let go. And then it came out through James Slater that guess what? If Scott Linehan had something against you, he under-targeted you. And then we end up seeing that same stuff with Amari. And then he was let go. And he spoke up politically correct. So then Diggs speak up politically correct, and guess what? He in the wrong now. And the fans give it cover. It's the fans that give it cover. Our fans are the people that make it easy on the Joneses to do the dirty work.
Asking a question that got us what we looking for. My final word is, I hope this doesn't become what's historically ugly with the Cowboys, because this wasn't the first time we've seen receivers speak out, right? Now, I just hope it don't get nasty. I hope this doesn't become the T.O. thing or the Dez Bryant thing, to where because they speaking out against the dysfunctions, like when T.O. talked about Romo and Witten, he was gone. Once he said Romo and Witten making up plays for each other, he was out, because you're considered a distraction, even though you're telling the truth. Once Dez came out and told the truth on play calling, he was gone. It didn't matter that he said it nice. He was out of here once he came out. So I just hope we don't, OC, do the things that we've done in the past, to where we look at the person that's telling you the truth as the bad guy and then target them and then figure out later, oh, you was right. Scott Linehan was predictable, but they've already fired Dez. He's already gone. You know what I mean? I'm hoping it don't spin into that, and I'm hoping it goes right into what you said, OC, which is they gonna hopefully take it as, yeah, he's ready. Let's target him. Let's get him going.
Yeah, I don't think that it's gonna go toxic, boss, because I think it's a different regime.
Yeah, and
I think that, you know, it's not a good old boy culture nearly as much as it used to be. The former try to like get W's and do what we need to do as a team. And so that's my prediction on this situation. And Amari Cooper is a high character guy. He's not messy. He's not loud. He's not flamboyant. So he's a guy that's respected. And I think he has to respect, or at least enough respect, of the locker room for that not to take place.
See, keep your eyes open, OC. Because like my boy D.A. Lee said, the fan base is already doing that to Coop in these groups. You know what I mean? Where basically the fans are targeting Coop. And see, when that happens, it makes it easy for the Joneses to do dirty work. So you can't do no dirty work. You can't do no dirty work on Tank right now. You can't. You just got to shut up. You know what I mean? But you can do dirty work on Coop right now. So it's something that to me we got to look out for, in my opinion, big bro. So, listen, y'all. I got me some bangers out there. I said I was going to take the day off. I didn't. I appreciate all the people that have been dropping cash apps on your boy. Now would be a good time to do that. I would really appreciate it if y'all did that. If anybody would do that. Not putting no pressure on anybody, but obviously that always helps. If y'all like this type of content, one of the best ways to say thank you is to put any kind of donation. It helps me on content. It helps me with supplies. It helps me with technology. It helps me with the bills and different things involved with giving y'all top content. So I want y'all to really go back, if you haven't, and check out these videos. These are fire videos. These are like super insightful videos. They are against the grain. They are against the crowd, but it's truth. It's factual. You will be on the right page if you check them out. The number one thing that I hope, just like I said in that video, is I hope that they don't make that mistake of targeting the guy that was telling the truth. Because it's so clear that Diggs was always telling the truth, because Jerry himself agrees with him. Jerry himself said we're going to play more man. So what's the difference between Jerry saying the adjustment that we need to make and Diggs saying the adjustment that we need to make? What is the difference? It's no difference. Mainly, I'm going to be honest, I want to get rid of them Trojan horse ass coaches. The main Trojan horse coach that's sitting right now, them type of people that would do diabolical, stupid shit and be total yes men, is Matt Eberflus. We should be trying to get his yes man ass out of here. I'm on a campaign. I want him out the building. Anybody that Jerry ran to hire and Brian Schottenheimer didn't, I want him out. I don't want anybody that disturbs the flow of leadership. I don't want anybody that could even be considered the next in line. We need a coach like Mike McCarthy. Even though he was imperfect, he was not no yes man like Kellen Moore. He was willing to push back. When it came to Amari and when he was getting under targeted, it was Mike McCarthy that had the common sense to fight to try to get him targets. Initially, it was Kellen Moore that was running the offense when he was under targeted.
As far as more targets for Amari, I hope so. But there's more factors into that. I mean,
what factored into that? What? He said in terms of more targets for Amari, I hope so. I hope he get, but it's more what was factoring into that at the time. The Trojan horse. Kellen Moore was hired to be under Mike McCarthy. The Trojan horse had something to do with that.
As far as more targets for Amari, I hope so. But there's more factors into that. I mean, I get excited every time the ball goes to Amari. I love it when the crowd goes, you hear Coop.
So who was actually fighting for him publicly? Who? Rumors are it changed, but at this moment,
They was fighting for him. He was fighting for him to get more targets. It never made no sense to have a star like Amari having the same amount of targets as a tight end.
In the stands, it's. I think it tells you the impact that it has, not only for offense but for our team and for the crowd and all that. So, I mean, I do recognize that.
Amari, talking to us last week, expressed some frustration, just wanting to get the ball. Obviously, they all want the ball. Was there a concerted effort on your part to give him more opportunities than in previous games, or that's just the way it went?
I think certainly it's the way it went. Obviously, we love getting the ball to Amari as much as we can. Felt like there were some great opportunities in this particular game. Amari did a great job of, especially early in the game, just being available, being open, doing a great job of getting his depth on particular routes. And so I felt like we did a great job of getting in a rhythm there. And, I think you always have to be careful of trying to narrow the focus for the quarterback into one particular guy. We feel fortunate to have other guys. Hey, they all want the ball. I get it.
Back to the decision ahead on Amari, his usage, not just production, but in terms of how often he was targeted, even when he was on the field, it was down.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of his relative lack of involvement, especially for someone who's got the contract of a number one wide receiver?
I just think it's an offensive philosophy, and with when we had the skilled players that we had, between Kellen and Dak, I think there was a progression of where you threw the ball. And depending on how the defense played you, it would point the ball to certain places where, hey, if they're going to double over here and they're going to double over the top over here, then that's going to dictate that the ball goes here. So I think it's more of a system deal. It wasn't a thing where we just said, hey, we're not going to target Amari as much.
Clearly wanted to focus on his system over feeding playmakers. Same thing we seeing on D.
Is that the right
based
system?
on the system, then does that make financial sense? You're not getting your investment dollars.
We go through all that. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get into individually this stuff, but yes, all that plays into how we invest.